5, 4, 3, 2.
Tier 1 performance.
Welcome back to the In and Out Talks podcast, guys, hosted by Tier 1 Performance. Your host, Mitch Matulia here. Today's special guest, former teammate of Jordan and I, James Berry, where he was a standout at Blinn Junior College. He also played some Division I baseball at Longwood University. James, welcome to the pod, brother.
What's up? Thanks for having me.
Dude,
super happy to be here. Super
man,
happy.
It's a pleasure having you on, man, and catching up with you. And just first and foremost, though, for all our guests out there, all our viewers, a little bit about yourself, man. Where'd you grow up?
So mostly grew up in the Kingwood, so north of downtown Houston, a little suburb north of downtown Houston. I was born and raised in Houston. Spent a little bit of time as like a 5 and 6 year old near San Antonio, but really bulk of my childhood in the Kingwood area. And so then obviously by the time you get into high school, I meet guys like you and Jordan and so yeah, from Kingwood, playing high school baseball there, growing up there. And like you mentioned, I did play, fortunate to play some college ball afterwards, and just the best experiences of your life, you know, just really sets you up for life, teaches you, and this is why I coach now,
Right.
which I'm sure we'll talk about, but college athletics, high school as well, but college athletics really sets you up with the discipline, the work ethic, the competitiveness, just all these different attributes to carry into your life afterwards, every single day afterwards. And now that it's been about 10 years since we all finished playing college ball, it's harder and harder to remember that. But really, I've learned more to prepare myself for life from sticking it out through athletics than any kind of degree, anything you can learn in a classroom, because, you know, the classroom is all about theory, but, you know, you have to interact with people, you have to get hard things done, and sports teaches you that. I don't care what sport you play, really. But so yeah, that's a little bit about me. High school, Kingwood, and then, like you mentioned, Blinn Junior College, and then Longwood University. And I've been coaching my own teams, 4 other people and myself, and that's the deal. That's the deal.
That's awesome, brother. And then, of course, Jordan and I, we met you in high school, right? But prior to that, were you playing other sports as well, or was it just baseball for you?
I did. So we did swim team in the summers. So kind of around 10 years old, we'd play baseball, and then we would do swim. But really, baseball was it. I had a desire to try soccer. Why, I don't know, but I remember having that conversation with my folks as a little kid, like about 10. It just never happened. My dad played soccer, so maybe that's what it was. Is he talked about how much he loved it, and so I wanted to try it. But
yeah,
baseball was it. It was so much fun. I just loved it. Like, instantly loved it from 5 all the way through. I think I took one fall off when we kind of moved from the San Antonio area back to Houston. But no, it was just, you know, baseball or a little bit of swimming. But other than that, that's it.
That's awesome, brother. And did you have like any kind of like inspiration that you looked up to as far as like a major leaguer, like a role model, like anything that you kind of wanted to base your game after?
Dude, I loved the Astros growing up, right? So grew up in the Bagwell, Biggio, Berkman era.
The Killer Bees,
yeah,
baby.
the Killer Bees, the Roy Oswalt, you know, Roger Clemens, Andy Pettit. Really, all those guys, they were my absolute heroes, dude, because, you know, they really, now that I think about it, I think they all played really hard, you know,
right.
And I have nothing against like celebrations or showboating, but you could tell that like they wanted to win, you know. And as a little kid, I just tried to, like, I literally would go in my backyard and pretend I was Roy Oswalt all those things. And so definitely, emulating the guys you see on TV, which I don't think has changed much at all.
No.
With how kids are today.
No.
I don't think that's changed at all. Thank God.
I mean, it's still the same sport at the end of the day. Like, I think it's more flashy now, of course. There's more theatrics that comes with time. But, like, I think that Killer Bee era for the Houston Astros, that was, like, the last hard-nosed, like, old-school way of playing the game that we all gained appreciation for. Not to mention, you had some of the best pitchers of that era come to the Astros kind of a little bit after their prime, but they still had some good seasons and were able to contribute to a World Series run. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah. No, I just loved watching. I was a baseball junkie as a kid, and we didn't. Some years we had cable, some years we didn't. It was hard to kind of watch the games, but that made it matter more when you did get to see the game. Like, I just remember waiting for the ESPN little soundtrack for Friday Night Baseball, and Joe Morgan, and John Miller.
Yeah.
Joe Morgan and John Miller, right? Those guys are like the voice of like your childhood going to bed, and
100%.
So, yeah, 100%.
There's some core memories, man. And speaking of core memories, like, I just remember going to your backyard and hitting in the batting cage throughout high school, and like that was so much fun, dude. Just like going back there, hitting for hours. Your mom and dad would cook dinner, and like we would eat some dinner afterwards, and like I'd drive home, the windows down, like. Bro, that was always such a great time.
It was a blast. We all loved to practice. When I tried to tell the 13-year-olds I coach now, and the personalities, it's just like when we played. Like, you have a third of the kids are like the nicest, most hardworking kids, and then you have your typical kids, and then you have like the wild kids that are like, I'm just glad they're even here at the ballpark and wearing their jersey and not like fighting other kids, like
Right.
So, but I tell them you have to love to practice, and what you're talking about is our friends, we loved spending the time doing that kind of thing. Like, we didn't care about anything else besides baseball. And food. Baseball.
100%, bro. And like, I want to dive into that a little bit too, man, because it's like who you surround yourself by at a young age impacts you tremendously. I mean, at any age, but especially in middle school and high school, your development ages, it's like you want to surround yourself with guys who want to play at the next level, right? And who are serious about practicing, like you said, not going out partying all the time. Like, there's a lot of temptations. There's a lot of people that are going to try to get you to go in that direction. You got to surround yourself with the guys who like want the best for you and will push you, right? Because ultimately, like, that's what gets you to the next level. So, how important was it that you were spending time with those types of guys growing up?
No, extremely important. I mean, like, to be frank, having teammates like you and Jordan, it makes you want to be better, right? Like, it pushes you, right? I mean, first of all, you have to make the lineup. Like, I tell my kids, like, the reality is, like, when you're an underclassman in high school, when you're 15, 16, you're competing for a lineup spot against a kid who's 17 or 18.
100%.
But they don't understand. They think it's all about the elbow guards and the sliding mitt.
The mitts, the oven mitts.
I mean, it's like, dude, there are kids 2 years older than you that are better than you and will work hard.
Right.
I'm kind of losing your question here, but I'm sorry. This is so much on my mind because we had a tournament this weekend. We've played 7 games in the last 8 days. Because we're in a hybrid system where we are playing in a league and we're a club, right? But it's been good. It's a club, so I have some kids where they only play the tournaments with me.
Okay.
And I have some kids where they only play the league with me. And then there's a core kind of 8 that are going through the grind of both.
Right.
But I'm like, I forget the question, but this is all relevant for who you spend time with, right? So that was a question, and they need to spend time with kids that want it, and I want it for them, right? But I tell them I can't want it more than you, and I think
that was special about our high school team, right? Like, we both graduated in the same class, for those of you listening, in 2013. But like, we had such a great core of seniors that year, where we got a new head coach who came in And he could not have come into like a better situation looking back on it, because like his best players, his starting 9 were also the hardest working guys on the team. And like the leadership on that team was good. I mean, like everything flowed well, you know what I mean? And so I think that's what you ultimately want, is like a bunch of guys who are wanting to get after it, who are competitive, but also have good team chemistry with one another, right? Because I mean, ultimately, like we were all friends too, off the field and on the field. So that was a special year.
Yeah, no, and going through your career, you learn so much about people. If you can just stay in this, if any parents are listening, just keep your kids in, hopefully baseball, but any sport as long as they can. And you know, there's the financial component, which we can get into, which I don't like people having their lives run by baseball, but keep your kid in it as long as you can, because you mentioned the attitudes and whatnot. Yeah. Of all the teams I was on, the 2 years, I had 2 years of varsity experience, 4 years at the college level. I mean, you have like 100 different teammates, pretty much. You have 100 different teammates. You're not going to be best friends with everybody. Not everybody else is best friends with everybody else, but you have to learn how to be on good terms with everybody, right? And not have detrimental relationships, not have detrimental attitudes and habits. But with our situation that we had together, I mean, everyone has their best friends,
right?
But even the guy that you don't really hang out with, if you still like each other, that's a blessing. And that's what we had. And it's some of the best memories of my life was
100%, man. And there's so many benefits of sports, like you said. It's not just what's on the surface level, but it's like, you gain the discipline. It keeps you out of trouble too, as a added bonus, right? And B, it's like you're teammates with guys from every race, every religion, every background, every financial background, right? So it's like you gain an appreciation for everybody. And I think that plays such an impact later on in life. Like you said, like you can get along with anybody, and it helps your personal skills, right? And of course that goes into the work world, because such a small percentage of guys actually make it to the professional level. And even then, it's like your career is going to end at some point. So that's a great point. And so, man, like, walk us through, what was it like getting recruited by Blinn Junior College in high school, and like what was that? Who were you playing summer ball with too at the time?
During high school, I played for a couple of summer ball organizations. So my dad knew a guy who was a part-time scout for the Tampa Bay Devil Rays at the time.
Yes.
So my dad was a firefighter. There was a firefighter who was part-time scout.
Yes.
So his name was Donald Turley. Donald Turley, tremendous baseball mind.
Yeah.
He actually took a team to the Little League World Series, now that I think about it, I think in the 90s. Went to Williamsport and took a team to the Little League World Series.
Out of Houston?
Yes.
No way.
Yes. So I learned so much. You talk about spending time with the right people.
Right.
I learned so much from Donald Turley, and a great guy. So we played with him. He got us into the Banditos organization.
Yes.
So I remember we were 16, and we were the fourth 16 team the Banditos had. And we were kind of the redheaded stepchild for them, because Donald Turley had the relationship with the Banditos. He put a good group together. A lot of us I was from Kingwood, but a lot of us were from the Woodlands, Oak Ridge, those kind, and they all ended up playing varsity baseball.
Good schools.
So good players, right? No reason couldn't be on the Banditos, but we were kind of a redheaded stepchild over there. It was a little different. So played for the Banditos, and then played for a guy from our area, kind of junior and senior year, called the Bayou City Gators. So playing for him, those are the two teams I played for. But you talk about the recruiting process. Really, it was make a little highlight tape, not really highlight, just video of you doing your skills. Make a little minute video of you hitting, running, fielding, throwing. Send it out to coaches. Call the coaches. And follow up with them. And it's funny, I work in sales now, and it's basically the same thing.
Right.
You know, and it's basically the same thing. How funny life, the more things change, the more they stay the same. But you have to, with the recruiting, not everybody goes to play baseball at the University of Texas.
Correct.
Again, teaching this to my 13-year-old kids, it's amazing the things you can learn with AI, but I pulled up that there's about 125,000 high school seniors in the United States. Just over 100,000, 125,000.
Wow.
And less than 1% of them a year from now will have significant playing time at the Division I level. It's less than 1% will get playing time at the Division I level.
So you're talking about 1,000 kids.
1,000 kids right now in America will get some playing time next spring at the Division I level. So you have to know just where you're at. Mm-hmm. You just have to know where you're at, and there for every UT there's 10 times more schools you can go play at. It's just at a lower level, right? So that was something that I was smart about doing, was I was hitting up junior colleges. That I'm not sending my video to UT at the time Augie Garrido, right? I'm not calling Augie Garrido 5 times a day because you don't run a 6'6", you don't throw 90 miles an hour,
right,
and you don't hit the ball 450 feet, right? Like, these are things you have to do.
I think you got to know you can't be delusional, right? Like, you have to know where you're at currently, and that's not where you're going to be 2, 3, 4 years from now, because you're going to get better. You're going to develop, right? But I think, and I want to hear your opinion on this, right? So you're in the baseball space, you coach an organization. If you're not, my opinion is, if you're not Division I ready out of high school, go junior college. Like, go develop. Unless you're built like a grown man, where you're hitting balls 450, you have 4 or 5 solid tools that you can play at the next level and actually have a chance of starting, go develop your skill set for a year or 2 years at a junior college.
But people don't want reality. Some people do. Like, life's very hard, and you spend 15 years playing this game, and then by the time you're 18, you're kind of too scared to know the truth. If you think about it, like, it's kind of like, like, how is this gonna go? Like, what have I been doing this whole time? And it's like, another story I tell my kids. There's been one player in the history of Major League Baseball drafted in the first round with the first pick that made the Hall of Fame, and that was Ken Griffey Jr. Ken Griffey Jr. Ken Griffey Jr. never won a World Series. So I bet you Ken Griffey Jr. would trade his entire career to have won a World Series. I almost guarantee it.
And he played 22 seasons, something like that, 22, 23 years. Like, he had a very long career.
So my point for the kids is, the fairy tale story is just, don't worry about the destination of being D1 out of high. It's good to have goals. Mm-hmm. It's about a journey. Enjoy the journey. If you can enjoy every single day, you'll end up somewhere that'll be worth it at the end of the day.
Do you feel that if you're playing baseball for the fame, for the fortune, those are the wrong reasons? You've got to do it for the love of the game, is what you're saying.
I had to yell at my kids this weekend. They're not doing the right things, respecting the game, respecting their opponents. And I'm like, guys, this is not TikTok.
Right.
Like, I don't know what you're watching on TikTok, but I don't live in TikTok world.
Right.
So, and I watch baseball highlights too. Mm-hmm. I watch a lot of baseball on YouTube. I'm not on TikTok. I'll watch it on YouTube. But the kids are spending so much time on their phones or talking to each other on their phones or whatnot, that the thing is no longer the thing itself. The thing itself is baseball, but you're getting baseball on your phone, right? Mm-hmm. All the hype about, I have people asking me, did you know Potterstown's coming to play in the Houston World Series? I'm like, who's Potterstown? It's some select organization from the Northeast that has the best base. I'm like, guys, they're 14 years old. I don't care how good you are at 14 years old.
Right.
Because another thing they don't understand, what parents don't understand or kids don't understand, is when you do get, and things may have changed in 10 years, when you do get to the Division I level, your scholarships, it's all a year-to-year thing.
Correct.
It's year to year. It's not a 4-year contract. And you can, there was a rumor or there was talk 10 years ago when I was at the Division I level that the coaches are not allowed to remove your scholarships for athletic reasons, that they're not allowed to do that. But there's a lot of gray areas in life.
It's performance based.
So you never arrive. It's a false success. It's grabbing something that's not real.
Correct.
So you have to earn it all the time and life's not fair. Life's not fair. So it's never guaranteed. So even if you are great at 14 years old, committed to LSU, if you come in as a freshman and they give you 30 starts at second base or 9 starts on the mound and you're horrible, I mean, you're costing that coach games, which is his reputation.
Yeah. I
had a college coach who's no longer in the business because his recruits didn't work out.
Well, and I don't think guys realize like how long it takes to become a head coach at the Division I level. It takes 10, 15, sometimes 20 years of just grinding before you get that head coaching position or opportunity. And when you get it, it's like it can go in 3 years if you don't produce. And that's why it's such a cutthroat business. It's like, if you go into your freshman year at, say, 60% scholarship, athletic scholarship, and you don't start, they're going to drop you down to 25% or give you a walk-on spot that next year.
And so now that there's full scholarships now, so the NCAA has lowered the roster limit since we played.
What is it now?
I think it's 30 or 31.
30 full scholarship roster positions.
You can have that. Yeah, the schools
If your school can
the
afford it.
schools will determine what they want to do, but you can no longer have like 40 guys on a roster and kind of because when 10 years ago, we had at Longwood University, we were a mid-major in the Big South. At the time, a very good conference. Coastal Carolina was in that conference. Liberty University in that conference. Campbell in that conference.
Was College of Charleston or Citadel, or those in the Big South?
They were not. They were not. I think they were in the SoCon.
Gotcha.
They were just a little bit further south than we were. But back then we had a travel roster because you could only travel, I think it was 26 or 27 guys on a conference road trip. Our roster was about 31, 32, right? And it was about that. We were very light on position players, which is how I made the team, right? We had my junior year at the Division I level, we had 13 position players.
That's crazy.
I was the only infielder. I was the only extra infielder because we had 2 third basemen. One of them was the DH.
Okay.
We had 1 shortstop who went on to get drafted by the Red Sox. We had 2 second basemen, the starter and then me, and we had 1 first baseman. So
did you play every infield position at Longwood?
I was a second baseman and a little bit of third.
Okay.
But they taught me how to play second.
Got you.
I became that was my thing. I became second baseman. I actually could play it pretty decently.
Yeah.
And a little side note to parents or whoever watching: if you have an interest in this while you're watching, don't give up. Stick with it. I didn't teach myself really to throw or catch until my sophomore year of college. Like,
really?
100%.
Well, I remember you
100%.
You were Iron Mike over the top.
Your body's changing.
Yes.
You're getting older. Things just click. And I mean, I could have never imagined at 18 years old when we played together that I would one day be getting some innings, the Division I level at second base.
Right.
But 3 years later, and when you work every day, you get better.
Well, how important is it on that note that kids learn multiple different positions and they know how to play every position, especially at the elementary, middle school ages? Because you never know where you're going to end up playing.
No, it's extremely important, but people want to prioritize. Well, my kid plays shortstop and bats fourth, and I'm like, I think to myself, unsolicited advice is always terrible. So if people's hearts aren't open, I just try to smile at them and wish them the best because I do. But it's like if your kid is batting fourth, playing shortstop, and he's never struggling, if he's hitting 500 and he's never really struggling, he needs to play better competition.
Correct.
Baseball is not the feel-good.
Don't be a big fish in a small pond.
It should be a little bit harder than you're capable of achieving. A little bit.
Yeah.
Oh, just a
like
little
if you're
bit.
batting 700 at age 12, you're not being.
I would say even 500.
Yeah.
Even 500.
Like go play 13U major if you're batting 700 at age 12.
And really watch the strikeouts more than anything, because the batting average can be funky even in Major League Baseball, but because at the youth level, I'll see a routine ground ball hit to the shortstop's backhand, but the kid's not really paying attention. The shortstop's not really paying attention until the ball's 30 feet off the bat and it goes into left field and everyone thinks it's a single. But you and I playing at the college level are like, no, that should be an out.
That should be an out.
That's an error.
Yeah.
But the kid doesn't even have enough range to go get the ball.
So he didn't get a glove on it.
Didn't even get a glove on it because he doesn't move until the ball's past the pitcher's mound coming back at him.
Yeah.
I see it all the time. So your kid should be striking out once every 10 plate appearances.
Okay.
Once every 10 plate appearances, he should be striking out. The average strikeout rate in high school and college is about 20%. So that'd be once every 5 plate appearances. Mm-hmm. You punch out. I had some kids that I really liked on my team in the fall. Very competitive kids, but they were 12 playing up to 13, and the hits weren't there. 1 hit in 20 at bats, and a lot of strikeouts. And I was like, and the kid had a good attitude about it. But I'm like, maybe just let's play with his age so he can have some more fun.
Correct.
Right? Like, let's...
Because as much as you want them to fail, you also want them to have a little bit of success so they have some confidence, right? It's like a fine line.
100%. So if 1 every 10 plate appearances he's striking out, there's enough challenge from the opposition to where he's either... It's like driving a race car, a go-kart around the track. Some of those turns, you almost lose control, but then you keep it.
Right.
And, it's never easy street, and it's never fighting for your life. You want to avoid those two at all costs. But people today, the industry today is everyone's proud of their kids' statistics and how many games they win. And I'm like, bro, you're...
And rings, right? Like they're ring chasing.
I have a friend in the industry I work in, and his kid is eligible to play for my team. He's on a majors team, and he tells me how great his kid's doing. And I'm just like, man, you just have no... I know everyone wants their kids to do well. I get that. But it's like you have no idea the failure that is going to come if he keeps playing. So, play him up a little bit. Let him bat 7th. Yeah. Let him bat 6th or 7th, play 2nd, 3rd, left field, right field. And now let's see how much you like baseball. Do you like baseball, or do you like things that are easy? That's the thing people don't understand. They like to dominate. They like taking candy from a baby. Right. And it's like, that's not competition. That's tricking yourself. That's tricking yourself. And so people need to, these are hard questions. People don't want to think this way. But this is the reality. This is reality.
Yeah. And so James, take us back. How would you describe your experience playing at Blinn Junior College?
Okay. So perfect example, right?
Yeah.
So the recruiting process. So I'm going to showcases, going to these showcases, like $100. If you're a junior or senior in high school, go to a camp, because this is where these junior colleges and mid-major programs find really their talent pool. They want to see them play. Spend the $100, $150, go to the camp, and that's your chance.
Correct.
I send the recruiting videos out, and I had 2 schools that wanted to see me pro bono for come to our camp. You don't have to pay anything. This is recruiting. We want to see you.
Right.
Okay, so one was Ranger Junior College. Mm-hmm. So they invited me out there for a one-on-one workout in December, November of my senior year of high school. So before our season started.
Yeah.
So the whole process starts with me sending the video and making the phone call, getting the coaches on the phone and saying, I'm interested in playing in your program. Yes. Right. So that's the whole start of the whole thing, is let them see you and get their attention. Email, phone call, both of them, get them on the phone.
Right.
It takes 5 minutes. Mm-hmm. You have to get them on the phone.
Effort.
Absolutely. So I go out to Ranger, do the workout. Mm-hmm. It's a private workout, so not a camp, but it was just a private workout. So they said, we'll let you know. You hit, you do ground balls, you run, you get to know them a little bit. They show you the campus, and they say, we'll let you know. So like 2 or 3 days later, I can't remember, but shortly after they called and they told me, hey, so thanks for coming. We want you on the team. We just don't have a scholarship for you, which is translation from, we think you can play a little bit, but we're not going to make a big investment into you. We want to kind of
walk on,
buy in bulk kind of thing. Yeah. They want to have 40 kids they think they can play to kind of see what they have, right?
Well, in junior colleges, they typically bring on 50 to 60 guys in the fall.
So good transition point. So I ended up going to Blinn, and luckily they didn't do that. That was not their thing. They brought in 35 guys, and you had to make the travel roster. But
in the fall,
they brought in 35 guys. It was not. Yeah, I've heard these horror stories about junior colleges where it's first day of practice and there's 7 third basemen, 7 shortstops, 7 second. You're just like, is this a football team or is this a baseball?
Let the best man win, like at every position.
So Ranger, I think that was a similar situation. I think it was a 45 to 60 man fall roster.
Understood.
I think that's what was about to happen to me if I went there.
Got you.
So Blinn, I actually have a hilarious recruiting story about Blinn.
Was Blinn the second team that reached back out to you?
Yes. Okay. So I got the preferred walk-on offer from Ranger in December. The Blinn offer didn't come until April. So
end of your senior season.
Yes, we're playing baseball with like a month to go before the playoffs.
Yeah.
And then they had called, and the process with Blinn was they had a camp. They had 150 kids come run your 60-yard dash, and then we inter squad with batting practice before that. I think it was a 1-day camp.
Okay.
It was a one-day camp. So that one was a kind of a tryout situation. They wanted to see me. I didn't have to pay for the camp. It was like $100, but the fact that they want you there is really what matters more than the money. Right. So I remember I ran the 60, and I did fine. I ran 7.2, and it was third baseman, corner guy. Like you're not crossed off the list yet. You run a 7.6, you're off the list, right? So I'm like survive and advance, right? Yeah, just survive and advance. So so then I remember it vividly. The inter squad comes. I went 1 for 2. Or no, I had 3 at bats. I had 3 at bats. I had a line drive single. I don't remember anything about that. I think I struck out once because I remember going into my 3rd at bat thinking, okay, this is the at bat that is going to decide how they view me.
Make or break here.
Yeah, because I was a smart kid for 8. I knew. You remember? I knew baseball. I knew.
Great baseball IQ, like you knew.
I knew this at bat was a big deal.
Yeah.
Because anyway, and I remember I hit a curveball. I lined out in that 3rd at bat, lined out on a 1-2 count, a curveball to the second baseman, and I said, I've got it.
Yeah.
And I
put 2 good barrels on the ball in 3 at bats.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. I said, that's it. And I don't know how it happened, but the kid threw me a curveball, and you don't, as a high school kid who was not like the best player on the team, like you don't exactly see a whole lot of curveballs.
No.
Right? Like as a 17, 18-year-old, you're not used to really seeing a lot of curveballs in the strike zone, right? You might see them in the summer, but they're in the dirt or
Yeah.
It's not exactly something I'd practiced a lot. Mm-hmm. And it just worked out. So I played well in front of them. It took some time, right? You know, obviously I was a lower college roster type player. So they probably, from that camp on, were trying to up their roster, right? Get as many good kids in as you can. Right? I mean, human nature. You want to live in the safest, nicest neighborhood you can. So if you're a college baseball coach, you want as many good players on your roster as you can. Right. So sometime between, November and April, they decided that I was worth having on the team. And so the funny story is, and I'd never spoken with the coach over the phone. Okay.
Head coach.
Never spoken with him over the phone.
Was he there the day of your tryout, though?
Yes.
Okay, good.
Yes. We'd only gone back and forth over email. And if we did speak over the phone, I didn't save his phone number. Okay. So funny story is the coach from Blinn calls me to offer me a spot on the team. And he introduced himself with his name, but he didn't say of what program he was with. So I'm 18 years old. I get a phone call from a number I don't have saved. I just take it and I'm listening, and I'm just a total idiot. I don't realize who I'm talking to.
Yeah.
And so he's like, "We want to offer you a spot on the team." And he asked me about my recruiting process. He goes, "Who else are you talking to?"
Yeah.
And I thought this was the Ranger coach calling me because I had spoken to the Ranger coach over the phone when he made me the walk-on offer.
Got you.
So that's the only coach I spoke on the phone. My memory immediately goes back to that, thinking he's checking in on me. And so the guy I'm on the phone with, he goes, "Who are you talking to? Who else are you talking to?" And I say, I'm talking to this group over at Blinn. And he goes, "Oh, okay." And I said, "Yeah, but I don't know if they're going to offer me or if I'm going to go play for you guys." And he goes, "Okay, well, when you figure it out, let me know." So I hang up the phone, go talk to my dad. He goes, "Who was that?" I was like, "That was weird, Dad. It was the Ranger coach calling me. He's already made me an offer." And he goes, "Let me see the phone number." And it was a Brenham area code.
Yeah.
I'm an 18-year-old idiot. I don't even know what an area code is. I don't know what area code is. I'm like,
you just know your area code on your phone. That's
I just know what the first three, anyway. I'm like, what? He goes, "That's a 979 area code. That's not from Ranger. That's the coach at Blinn who just called you." And I'm like, "You're lying." He goes, "Call him back and accept that offer." So I had to call the coach back, told him that I thought I was talking to the Ranger coach. "I'm totally coming." This is
what was his reaction? Like,
he was like, he goes, "It happens more than you think. We'll see you in the fall." And so I almost blew my entire college experience. On the phone.
Shout out to Daddy Barry, bro.
Shout out to my dad. Shout out to my dad for correcting me. Would have blew the whole thing right there.
Well, I mean, I think though, as a coach, wouldn't you want to say where you're from, like what program you're with?
As an 18-year-old, your heart's racing a million miles an hour when a college coach calls you.
You're so nervous.
It's like talking to a girl. It's worse than talking to a girl.
I remember being on the phone with coaches, and I was just like, "Man, yeah, okay, cool."
They call it drinking water out of a fire hose.
Yeah.
That's just hit me, So that was the recruiting process. You send the video, you get in front of them, you show them your stuff, you play good, and then remember who calls you.
Is the recruiting process still that same way in many aspects? Or has it changed?
I think it's changed a little bit. I don't think a guy because the rosters are smaller and there's more money in the sport, right? With this NIL and top college players making money.
Yeah.
With the competitiveness the way it is, it's much harder. It's so
right.
They still have to see you play. Perfect game is important, right? They want to see your exit velocity. They want to see how fast you run. They want to see how hard you throw.
But to your point, man, I think for your schools, with the ability to go into the transfer portal and grab whoever they need, you have to. It's what can you do for me right now? And if you don't have every tool, if you don't have plus throwing, plus speed, plus hitting, plus power, go to a junior college and develop.
Yeah, you have to have the right mindset to even have that conversation. There's a lot of talented people or good players that don't want to work for it. They want to be handed the opportunity. And I understand that. You should go where you're going to play. You should go. But here's the thing, working in the commercial real estate industry, everything over talk is just talk.
Right.
Get it in right. The coach is not guaranteed to play you.
Right.
Right.
No matter what they tell you on your visit, there is no promises. Okay, we're all told stuff on some visits that were not true. And I think it's important that parents know that out there as well. Is like when you go to these 4-year schools, especially, maybe even junior colleges, I can't speak from personal experience, but these coaches are going to tell you everything that you want to hear, right? And it's just like, you got to see through the BS and you got to put your nose down. You got to work hard. You're going to get some opportunities, especially if they're giving you scholarship money. You have to capitalize on those opportunities. So
some of my best friends from the junior college level, because Blinn is a top level program. A lot of parents, they only see UT or A&M play, and you're looking at the 1% of the 1%. Right. But some of my best friends at Blinn who were on scholarship, you bring 20 position players in, 18 position players, 9 of them get the lineup. So half these kids don't make the lineup.
Yeah.
And a lot of them are on scholarship, and these are all state caliber players that, your first 20 at-bats don't go well and you sit the bench for a month. Next thing you know, you don't get invited back on the team.
Yeah.
Right.
Because you have a fall season and a spring season at junior college, right?
Yes. Yeah. Well, we had a hybrid. We probably played 12 games in the fall, which is not a lot.
Against other opponents?
Correct.
Okay.
We did a ton of inter squads. Ton of inter squads.
Yeah.
But the fall schedule was not robust. It was not robust.
And is that when you moved to second base? Was that Blinn Junior College?
No, that was at the Division I level.
So you're playing third at Blinn.
I was third, and I tried to sneak in as a catcher because we only had two. And
you're playing a lot of games, or at least a lot of inter squads.
As a lower tiered roster player, you need to be able to do everything you can to try to get in the lineup. Right. I mean, the coaches, my sophomore year at Blinn, were even thinking of getting me in left field, because in these inter squads, like I remember my freshman year at Blinn, I was a catcher, right? So I'm catching all these guys in their bullpens getting ready for the inter squads, and then I go hit off of them. So I've seen all their stuff. I'm not kidding you, Mitch, that when we came back, That's
the best.
You come back in January, you have Christmas break, right? So you get this big break for 30 days before your season, which is terrible. Right. But for kids like us who would work hard during it, so you're working hard, you come back for the inter squad, in that 30-day window of the inter squads and coming back, I definitely was like 16 for 30 with like 5 doubles, and just because the coaches would keep track.
In those initial inter squads after Christmas break.
Yes.
1st of January.
Yes.
Well, January 10th through
February 10th. Yeah. That kind of 30-day window. I was getting it. I put in the work. I'm catching all their stuff. Right. So I'm kind of used to seeing the fastball coming in. You're just around the baseball.
Correct.
I'm just ripping the cover off the ball. I'm just like, I don't know what's going on. Like, I know I can play a little bit, but right now I'm the best hitter on the team. And they're like, dude, if you keep this up, like, we're going to have to play you in left field. Like, because we had a DH, a designated hitter from Texas Tech, who was 6'4", 220 pounds, and ran a 6'7" on a 60, a 6'7".
Good athlete.
And he was a good buddy of mine, and he was like, that's going to be the DH. So
he's got that position on lock.
That's the DH, and he ended up not really working out because baseball's hard.
Yeah.
But they're like, so we're going to DH him. You might play left if you keep this up, and it's just one of those things where you just have to keep going. You never know what's going to happen.
So how much playing time did you get your first year at Blinn versus your second year?
Minimal, none, almost none.
So your first year was like barely made the roster. Defensive, we had
So you were the first, Mitchell, for those of you who don't know, Mitchell Matulia was the best shortstop in the state of Texas in 2013. He was number one first team All-State. The guy who was second all-team shortstop for the state of Texas was our third baseman at junior college.
Really?
Yes, is a gentleman by the name of Caden Williams.
Okay.
Caden Williams
I remember Caden
was
Williams.
second team All-State shortstop.
Yes.
Caden Williams played third base for us because our shortstop was that good at defense, right? Like our shortstop at Blinn was very good at defense. That's a lot of times what coaches value is a side note, people are negative thinkers. People don't like when things go wrong. Right. So if they see a shortstop who makes a few errors, it makes them lose their mind. Yeah. It makes them lose their mind because you're supposed to make the play.
Correct.
I don't care if you hit 200. Make all the plays.
It's a bonus if you have a good hitting shortstop, but you need a shortstop who's going to make every routine play and can go out of his way to make some diving plays from time to time as well.
So if our shortstop got a glove on it, he made the catch and made the throw.
Okay.
And he could make some plus plays as well, but the routine play was just silky smooth.
Yeah.
So Caden Williams plays third base, who was the second best shortstop in the state of Texas. Not good enough to play shortstop at the JUCO level. So for those parents out there, it's just like you don't know where you're going to play.
No.
You don't know where you're going to play.
I have no idea.
No idea. So I was a backup third baseman, just trying to stay on the roster, and pinch hitting from time to time, just trying to stay alive. Because you talk about the recruiting process. My priority was to have a good experience. Go to the best of the best. That's what as good of a school as I could get into. I wanted to go to.
Right.
I didn't want to play Division III or II. I knew I could play enough to play college, but I didn't care about my statistics. I wanted achievements.
Yeah.
I wanted to push myself.
And surrounding yourself with better talent is only going to make you better.
I just wanted to push myself.
Yeah.
That's it. And if they send me home, then they freaking send you home, and you can try again somewhere else. It's like I'm not gonna. I want to push myself.
I think kids are so scared of failure today, right? And rejection,
it sucks.
And it sucks.
It sucks.
But it's what you get out of that makes you a champion, right? Like every champion has failed, and that's what's made him a champion. And so, what'd you do that summer between your freshman and sophomore year?
So,
like to make an adjustment.
A lot of the good story, and the coach from Blinn, I really love that he gave me this opportunity, because the way it works is at the end of your fall season, they have a fall evaluation for you, because they tell you what they like, what they don't like. That way they can they're planning for the spring season, right? And so the coaches want to know what they're looking at, communicate it with you. And basically, run off the kids who don't want to be there, or just kind of firm things up. Really, just kind of like you're getting ready to move. I guess if you're getting ready to move, you go over your plans. I don't know. So they had a conversation with me in my fall evaluation, and I started to hit pretty good. I became the starting DH by the end of the fall for whatever it's worth.
Nice.
So I knew I had progressed offensively. I knew that. And so in my fall meeting, the coach said, "So do you know where you're at on the third base depth chart?" And I said, "Oh, yes, sir. I'm at the bottom." And he goes, "So let me ask you this: if you're at the bottom, why are you not here before everybody else taking ground balls?" And I just sat there with dead silent, because I was 19 years old.
Nobody's ever talked to you like that. Like that blunt and straightforward, right?
I had never sat the bench before.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, I didn't get playing time on the varsity until my senior year, but as a junior, nobody's, there's better kids than you. Nobody's really direct with you like that.
Correct.
Nobody's ever been direct with you like that. So I'm like, I don't know. And he goes, "Well, let me tell you this. How about you're the first one here every day? How about you're the first one here every day?" And I said, "Yes, sir." And so I think what that was is, you better start coming in early, or you're not going to get invited back next season. I think that's what that is.
Yeah.
Is I'm okay. Not everyone on the team is going to play, obviously, but we're not going to have you drag the team down. You have to work harder than everybody else to push everybody up.
Correct.
So to answer your question, thankful to the infield coach who, for a walk-on, a kid that wasn't going to play, would show up early and hit me ground balls for 30 minutes.
I think that's so important that kids understand that and parents hear that, because at every level, I don't care if it's the youth level, the high school level, the college level, there's always a coach willing to go out there and hit you extra ground balls early before practice. It's their job at the college level. Those coaches are already out there. Grab them off to the side and be like, Coach, I would like to show up here 30 minutes before everyone else gets here. I need extra ground ball work. Nobody's ever going to turn you down for that. And
then on top of that, managing your time, and luckily the junior college schooling I could handle it as a freshman and sophomore.
Right.
So after practice, I would go to the auxiliary gym, just extra gym, and I would play wall ball by myself for 2 hours.
And just work on scoops. Like
just
everything.
getting better at throwing and fielding. Just took a rag ball, threw it as hard as I could against the wall, and record it on video, study it, show it to the infield coach. And in fact, there was even a kid, I remember this vividly now, a regular student who saw me doing it, and he goes, I want to try out for the baseball team. Can I do this with you? And I said, well, absolutely. So we threw, me and a regular student, I wish I remember his name. I'd love to speak with him.
Yeah.
We threw each other ground balls back and forth 2 hours a night, probably 3 months in a row.
Wow.
Just because I wanted to get better, right? I wanted to stick in the game. And I knew the hitting got me in the program, but the defense was keeping me off the field. That was the thing, right? So learned how to do that good enough for 2 years to where when you do end up at the Division I level, I stayed. I stayed.
Well, I think it's important too that kids realize that, like, if you hit, you don't sit. There is truth to that, and hitting is the most important part of the game. But if you can't field a position, there's only one DH spot. There's 8 positions out there other than the pitcher, right, that need to be filled. But if you're a liability in the field, you're competing for one spot, essentially.
Yes, and baseball really is actually about defense, because on offense there's one guy batting and maybe 3 base runners. Last time I checked, that's 4, and then on defense there's 9.
And there's hitting's going to come and go. Obviously, the most consistent hitters are the best hitters. Fielding and base running have to always be good. Like,
yes.
You can't make errors, and you have to be able to run the bases. Like, if you can't do those 2 things, you're not going to be in the lineup.
Speed never slumps.
Right.
Unless you got a pulled hamstring.
Right.
You're fast. You're fast. You get out of bed in the morning. You're just fast.
Yeah.
And then the defense part. We had a third baseman at the Division I level, and I went to that school because I looked up the statistics of the infielders, and I thought I was a third baseman, and I was like, I think I can beat these guys out.
Yeah.
And so the coach brought me, and he was like, actually, dude, you profile a lot better at second. And like they were right. Like I could play second. Like,
well, because you had good bat to ball skills, like not super overpower, right?
Yeah.
Like, but you hit doubles, and I felt like you were a good middle infield. Like a second base was a perfect position, especially with your height too.
Yeah, no, I mean it kind of. I tried to be a little JUCO version, a little 18, 22-year-old version of Dustin Pedroia. That was who Dustin Pedroia was. Not the most athletic guy. He was not the biggest guy, the fastest guy, the strongest. I bet you Pedroia ran like a 6'9" or a 7 flat.
Correct. Yeah.
I ran a 7'1", my best time ever, 7'15".
But yet was a standout at Arizona State, got drafted by the Red Sox. The rest is history. Like, that guy should not have been that good, but he loved the game, was just like gritty.
Yes.
And that was you. Like, you loved the game and you were gritty.
I mean, but the to what you're saying, what biggest advice I'd give to parents and players today is exactly what you're saying. Running and defense. I think hitting lessons largely are a waste of time.
You think so?
I know so because batting practice from a coach 40 feet away on flat ground is nothing like the game. Nothing like the game.
Unless your coach is also throwing in mentoring aspects and like the mental side of the game, like approaches. If it's strictly just mechanics, I agree with you. Because you know how many hitting lessons I got my whole entire life? One. One hitting lesson my whole life.
Wait, hold on. You didn't take hitting lessons?
Never took hitting lessons. Never
Wow.
took hitting lessons.
Let me. I'm going to be dramatic here. I took some hitting lessons. But you have people right now that think that, well, he's got hitting lessons, so what like why do I have to do anything else?
Yeah.
And it's like, no, it all works. It all works together.
There's so many different parts of the game.
I've literally had a conversation with a parent that I've coached their son.
Yeah.
And they're like, I don't understand why he's not hitting. He takes lessons. And I'm just like, A does not equal B.
BP fastballs do not correlate to on the field, especially when you're seeing curveballs, changeups, different counts. And not to mention, all these pitchers are getting better and better because they're working with. I think pitching lessons are different from hitting lessons.
For sure.
I think pitching lessons definitely work.
No, for sure.
But
because pitching is a proactive thing where you're working on your body and your stuff. Hitting is a reactive. Pitching is you can assert what you're doing.
That's why I think scouting pitchers is so much easier than scouting hitters.
The game has mastered that. You know, I mean, you got guys like Ben Joyce throwing 105 miles an hour. I mean, it's just with a nasty breaking ball and for strikes.
It's so hard to determine the projectability of a hitter, I think, versus a pitcher. Because if pitcher's just mowing dudes down and they have stuff and they throw hard, that guy will correlate to the next level. But if I see a hitter lighting it up, it's like, okay, well, what kind of pitchers is he facing, right? I think that it's the hitters that do well against those type of pitchers. That's when scouts are like, okay, this guy can hit.
When you going to this thing about what's best for kids and their parents, when you look at the Team USA baseball roster right now in the World Baseball Classic, the high school kids that are in it, Roman Anthony, Gunnar Henderson, Bobby Witt. Okay, so you have 3 kids drafted out of high school. I think all the Bryce Harper is still there. That's a previous era.
Yeah.
Okay, Bryce Harper 4. I mean, you're talking about the best high school kids in the last 15 years.
In the nation.
I mean, it's and they're all good at defense. So
Bobby Witt might be the most complete player in the world.
100%.
He's got 5 tools.
100%.
He's got 5 tools.
The hitting, the emphasis, the hit, don't sit. I coined a opposite one. If you make the out, coach doesn't pout.
Yeah, that's a good one.
If you make the play, your coach isn't pouting.
And we're not talking about like making these diving plays in the hole like Bobby Witt's making. Make every routine play.
But if you don't, but you instead of for every, I'll give you some numbers on this.
Yeah.
I gave lessons at a facility last spring. I did 33 lessons that spring. Guess how many fielding lessons I gave? 1.
Yeah.
And these are people that ask for the lesson. I'm not biasing the data here. They sign up. Everybody wants to hit. Nobody thinks about defense. And I'm like, it is. You just take the defense for granted. But I think fielding ground balls for me, maybe I was supposed to be a catcher. Fielding ground balls and making the throw to first base is actually harder than hitting. It's actually harder than hitting because as a hitter, if you have a 400 on base percentage, you're a monster.
Yeah.
You can hit 275 and have an on base percentage of 400, and you're in the lineup.
I agree. I think it's just.
But you have to field and throw 95% of the balls hit in your general vicinity.
Yes. Yes.
Which is very hard.
Well, it seems to me like the guys who make it to the big leagues nowadays, like they hit for power, they can field, and they can run, right? Roman Anthony can't run, but he can do those other things. Now, the guys who have long MLB careers, they can hit. They can just straight up mash. Because guess what? The speed's going to go at some point.
Yeah.
And you're going to turn into like a Barry Bonds that just rakes.
Yeah.
I mean, very few people are Barry Bonds. There's only one Barry Bonds. But what I mean is like to have a 15, 20-year career, you got to hit. But I think what gets you into the league is all 5 tools. Because like Barry at one point stole bases and he played a great outfield, right? And like all these like Nelson Cruz, like these big power hitters towards the later half of their career, they don't really have a position in the field, but they can still hit bombs. You know what I mean? So I think like or speed and defense is what helps you get seen by colleges and helps you get drafted. I think you got to have all tools.
Yes.
Don't just be limited to, and like, that's what bothers me, man, is like seeing these kids out of shape in middle school and high school.
Wow.
And they're not fast.
Wow.
And they're fat. And I'm not being.
No, you're a coach. I mean, you're evaluating.
I'm evaluating.
Yeah.
And how you present yourself goes a long way. You know what I mean? So it's like kids out there, like, you need to get your diet in check. You need to be disciplined from a young age because that's what's going to get you seen.
And we were both infielders and whatnot, but even the outfielders, they think like they don't prioritize their defense. Like they just hit all the time, and it's like, but bro, like I hit you a ground ball and you're outfielder, you make your throw. It takes you an hour and a half to throw the ball. Like it's not fast enough. Like it's not intense enough. But they think, well, I can catch routine pop-ups, so like I'm good at defense. Like, no, you have to be good at defense. You can't
reading, footwork, everything that goes into
you need to have a good arm.
Yeah.
And make catches, make running catches in the outfield. Just standing under the pop-up is not that's not it's the ball's hitting the gap, go get it.
Yes.
But so that would be my thing is people need to work on their defense. However good you are at defense, it's never good enough because if you only make 9 out of 10 plays, you're probably getting taken out of the lineup.
So defense and speed never slumps.
They never slump. They never slump.
Well, James, man, unfortunately, we ran out of time. I know we can talk for probably 5 hours longer.
This is part 1.
This is part 1. We're going to have at least 3 or 4 parts with you. Part 2 will come later this fall where we will talk with you more about your select organization and everything that comes with your coaching that you do. But, man, I really appreciate the time having you on, brother. It was really great catching up and begin to talk some baseball with you too, man.
Well, and you guys are doing good work for the kids in the Houston area, being the coaches that we needed growing up. And just passing that on, impacting the next generation.
I appreciate that, brother. And you're doing the same. And, dude, where can our listeners find you on social media?
On social media, you can find me on Facebook, the Northeast Houston Baseball Club.
Yes.
That's my organization.
NEBC?
And you can just Google that one, Northeast Houston Baseball Club on Facebook.
Okay.
And we have a Perfect Game website. We're a little club. And find me on Facebook, and I'll get in touch with you. Try to help you out. Try to help out some parents and kids.
And we'll make sure we add those on there as well. We'll tag all those sites on these videos, man. But we really appreciate it, James. Great seeing you, brother.
5, 4, 3,